This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening and welcome to the City of Warrenville Community Development Committee of the Whole regular meeting for Monday, July 10th, 2023. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Brummel,
Here?
Alderman Ashour,
Here. Here.
Alderman Augustinovich,
Here.
Alderman Berry,
Here.
Alderman Davalos,
Here.
Alderman Kruckenberg,
Here.
Alderman Lockett,
Here.
Alderman Widener is absent, Alderman Wilkie.
Here.
You have a quorum.
If you'll please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. This is the time of the meeting where we set aside for citizen comment. Has anyone signed up? Nobody has signed up. Okay. Moving on to official and staff comments. Mayor Brummel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, thank you to all that were involved in our 4th of July celebration. It was second to none yet again. I think most people don't realize that these folks are all volunteers that put this together. They meet monthly, year-around. Every month they meet to get this thing going and to make sure it's successful. Karen Johannick, as the parade chair, I'll agree that the parade was just delightful this year. I heard that another prominent community in the area, their parade basically was half sports teams and half politician. Ours, I think, was a little more diverse than that, had a little more fun involved. So great job. It was just a delight to be part of that. And we were very fortunate with the weather, obviously. Things are coming up that are exciting, too. National Night Out is coming out August 1st. Summer Days coming up at the beginning of August, also, I think the 7th. You can find information for both of those on our website. And we are bringing back the Citizens Police Academy. That's coming up in September. There will be more news about that and what's involved with that. I can remember years ago I did it twice. It was very, very interesting to see the inside of law enforcement and see what happens in the police department. I remember one particular exercise we had. There were a couple of alleged ne'er-do-wells that were hidden in the police department, and we were given plastic guns, and we had to go around and find these people. And we had partners, and as I recall, the only thing I recall about is that I got my partner killed that night. So it is not only informative, but it's really interesting to go through a dark building and not know where this person is, but know that they are up to no good. And so it gives you an idea what it's like to be a policeman in some difficult circumstances. We also had domestics, which people deal with a lot, maybe more difficult than anything else. Emily Larson used to do that with Bob Lador, our chief. And I swear we walked in and they would go at it. And they were like, what do you do with this? They were so good at having a domestic dispute. And again, it gives you an idea of how sophisticated police work is, how difficult it is sometimes to make decisions based on what you're facing and that you haven't seen before. So sign up for the Citizens Police Academy. There's a limited number of places available, but I guarantee you will enjoy it. You will learn something. You get the tour DUCOM this time around. Acelia, another place you get to tour where the officers get trained. It's definitely worth your time. So sign up. That's all I have for tonight.
And I'm sorry, did somebody have a comment? If you'd like to. Thanks, Larry. Please state your name and address.
Larry Saccatelli, and I live at 30 West 180 Hestley Street. And my question is, there's a piece of property on the corner of 59 and Estes. Somebody had bought, tore down a bunch of trees, and now it looks like it's vacant. Weeds are growing hip high now. Trees have blown down from what they've removed and have broken. And I'm just wondering, is anybody able to contact this person who bought the property? And are they fixing it, destroying it? What's going on there? Because it's looking like a hellhole.
Amy or Consuelo, are you guys prepared to?
I'll get us started, and if I don't have all the details, I'll turn it to Consuelo. So we are aware of the property, and code enforcement is definitely working on getting the overgrown situation taken care of. Consuelo, did you have a comment on the development proposal for the site?
Yes, we don't have one at this point. The new owners had indicated interest in redeveloping the property. However, since they contacted us and we met with them in person, they've withdrawn that proposal and they want to leave it as is and continue to use it as a rental. However, we are aware of the trees that were removed and they will be subject to compliance with the landscape ordinance once any type of new development takes place on the property.
Thank you.
In terms of the cleanup, we'll have code enforcement working on that immediately. We'll work to get the compliance sooner than later. In terms of development of the site, I don't believe we have any timing for that at this point.
Thank you.
I do have additional staff comment as well on
Sure.
this portion. I just wanted to share that there are two revised memos that were distributed this evening for items F4 and F6. One was to address a Scrivener's error, and the other is to update our latest design guide or formatting guidelines. So no content changes. The body, the information, the recommendations remain the same, but the latest and greatest in terms of our formatting is provided in those memos. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Did any aldermen have any comments? No? City administrator?
Just one quick comment in the summary for item F4, the committee action requested should include recommend city council direct staff. Thank you.
Any other staff comments? Seeing none. Okay, moving on to the business of the meeting. Item number 1, consideration of Tourism and Arts Commission Aesthetic Enhancement Project recommendation for fiscal year 2024. This is going to be presented by Senior Accountant Verana Scavina.
Thank you, everyone. Just would like to introduce the Tourism and Arts Commission Committee member, Linda Osborne, who will be presenting tonight the Aesthetic Enhancement Project. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm here representing TAC tonight in place of our chair,
Linda,
Monica
could you get the
Johnson.
mic a little closer, please?
Oh, is that better? Okay. I'm here representing TAC, and I'm here in place of Chair Johnson, who is not able to be here because of family matters going on. So let me get started by briefly recapping the history of this program. In 2015, the City Council directed Tourism and Arts Commission, TAC, to create a program aimed at enhancing community character with the installation of public artwork at various locations throughout the community. TAC's first project in 2018 was to have installed 4 bronze pieces of art in Leon Schmidt Park. And the artist was Kevin Box, who's in New Mexico. In 2020, TAC's second project was installed on the corner of the Warrenville Police Department property. And this is a stainless steel sculpture featuring a police officer. And I hope you've all gone over to see it and see how good it looks there. This particular sculpture was done by an artist from Nebraska, Matthew Plasek. This year, we have TAC for the fiscal year 24 budget has been included in the budget, and TAC is pleased to recommend a new project for approval. Before I discuss this, I'd like to introduce the artist, Jen Kressel. Stand up so everybody can see you. Hello. TAC would like to propose the purchase of 1 metal sculpture created by Jen Kressel. It features a metal winged horse and when finished, it will sit atop a metal base. The body of the horse is created solely from wrenches, and the wings have been repurposed from their former use as industrial-grade conveyor belt materials. The proposed overall dimensions of the piece, including the base, will be approximately 15 feet high with a wingspan of just over 7 feet. The cost of the sculpture and metal base, which includes delivery, installation, and a full application of clear coat, is $38,000. The cost does not include installation of a concrete base to which the metal base and sculpture will be bolted. The artist has provided an estimate of $3,000 for a concrete base, and Public Works staff has agreed to coordinate the concrete work. The total approximate all-in cost for this project would be $41,000. This cost is well within the $60,000 allocated in the fiscal year 2024 budget. TAC members discussed various site locations with the artist and city staff, and we have settled on the water fountain location at Bob Walters Commons, which is located between City Hall and the Warrenville Public Library. This site was chosen due to its accessibility and visibility to the public, as well as information from city staff that the water fountain has been deteriorating. We have met with Public Works, and they have agreed to work with TAC as they have in the past. And in addition to that, city staff has reached out to the Warrenville Park District and Library District regarding the removal of the fountain and the installation of the sculpture, and there has been no concerns on either side. If improved, this piece would be installed during fiscal year 2024, and if possible, before the coming winter. There are really several reasons why TAC is recommending working with Jen Kressel. One of them is, of course, that Jen is from Warrenville. As TAC wanted to be purposeful about seeking to diversify their artist base, the previous artists, both men and from outside of the state, it was finding a woman-owned workshop was not only exciting, but finding it right here in Warrenville was really a sensational bonus. We're very excited. From the start, Jen has opened her workshop to the commissioners and has involved TAC in the creative process on a level that was not possible with previous projects. She's met with city staff and TAC members multiple times over the past several months to have questions answered and to ensure a good partnership. The commissioners admired the energy and strength radiating from the winged horse, which embodies characteristics such as independence, freedom, endurance, confidence, courage, and heroism. The winged horse, Pegasus, is known to be a guide for humankind beyond the physical world to the realm where the spirit can soar without limit. It is the hope of TAC that this work of art will be a catalyst for imagination as viewers young and old share the stories that this piece is sure to inspire. By repurposing tools, machine parts, and scrap metal so cleverly into her pieces, Jen's work encourages viewers to visually explore the assorted components and to marvel at the way they combine to create something so completely original and inspirational. Thank you for supporting this program, and Jen and I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have, and Jamie Clark is also here to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Alderman Davos?
I don't have a question, but this is really exciting. You guys have done, TAC have done a remarkable job over the years of searching out people and so that we can receive some really original art. And it has made a difference, and I think it's going to make a difference as we go forward. And I just think this is going to be a powerful piece in the location that you've done, and it seems so original. So I'm very much excited. So thank you for all the work. Thank you as an artist. It's incredible. Thanks.
Mayor Brummel.
I couldn't agree more. It's really exciting to have a local artist produce something that's unique for us and gives us a place in the art world that's special and unique. So Jen, well done. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see it out there. Jamie, can you start on the concrete maybe tomorrow afternoon? Get that in. He's thumbs up, so we're off and running. So we'll get the approvals for you, and we'll be on our way. But Jen, well done. It's a beautiful piece. Where do you find so many wrenches?
I've been kind of just collecting them over the last 5 or 6 years, and, oh, hey. Oh, boy. Testing?
There we
Okay.
go.
All right. So I've been collecting wrenches for like 5 or 6 years with the vision of building some sort of horse out of it. And I started it a while ago, just a basic frame, and I realized I needed a lot more wrenches to even get any further than what I was looking at. So again, I just a big bin, and then finally one day I'm like, let's do it or don't, you know, and I just went with it. And it's just, to me, it's like a personal goal, but it's also just, it's fun to be able to take something as it is and turn it into something that actually looks like, you know, a horse or a Pegasus, and just, you know, hoarding stuff, I guess. I mean, that's the way my material is, just from me collecting a bunch of bulk. And once I have enough that I can envision something, I just go for it.
I think that's part of the cool thing of what you do is that you wrenches, who would think of Pegasus, you know? as
Precisely.
like
I mean, a lot of people look at them like, oh, that 10 millimeter I could have used, but, you know,
Yeah.
I can't have it. It's mine.
Well, it's very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very excited also.
So excited, 70 feet. It's hard, it's going to be hard to imagine, you know, that big of a wingspan sitting
It's
up there.
beautiful.
And over here with the concerts out here and everything, I think it's just going to be amazing. So thank you to you and to TAC again.
Yeah, thank you.
If there are no other questions, I will entertain a motion.
I would just, one last comment.
sure.
Linda, thank you for a very thorough and nice presentation tonight. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Oh, comment, Alderman Berry.
I would just like to thank Jen for her beautiful artwork. It's an amazing piece, and I think the people of Warrenville will very much appreciate it. I would also like to thank her for working with TAC. It's been a process. It doesn't happen overnight, and she's been very good about coming to visit us here and also having everybody traipse through her studio. So it was a joy. Also, I'd like to thank TAC for really pushing this forward and really getting behind it. They've done an incredible job with this piece, so thank you, everyone.
Alderman Krokenberg?
I would also like to voice my,
Microphone.
sorry. I would also like to voice my appreciation to TAC and also to Jen. I think the sculpture is fabulous, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing it put up in one of our spaces. I think it's really cool that the artist is from Warrenville, and I think that says a lot. And with that, I would like to recommend that City Council, 1, approve a purchase agreement with Steel Envy LLC for the purchase of 1 metal sculpture featuring a winged horse and base to be clear-coated, delivered, and installed in a city-specified location within Bob Walters Commons for $38,000 in fiscal year 2024, pending city attorney review, and 2, authorize Public Works staff to coordinate concrete work in an amount not to exceed $3,000 and to assist in preparing the site for installation.
We have a motion by Alderman Krokenberg and a second by Alderman Berry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you all.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 2, consideration of a flow monitoring data collection agreement with ADS Environmental Services. This is Public Works Director Phil Kukler.
Thank you and good evening. The city's used ADS Environmental for flow monitoring services for the past 7 years. We started using them because the city of Naperville also uses them. The primary purposes why we use them to monitor our sanitary sewer flows are, one, so we can accurately bill Fermilab for the flows that we receive from them and their system, and two, more importantly actually, to double check our numbers with Naperville to make sure they're billing us accurately. Naperville using ADS helps to more easily review and address any discrepancies between our flows. Both communities have been using them to calibrate our equipment and that kind of stuff, and having that history of the flow data to go by, ADS is able to quickly resolve any issues, and having us both use the same company also doesn't introduce the city, Warrenville having its own company to do this and Naperville having its own and having potential conflict between the two of them. So it's been a good relationship so far. ADS has performed well. Their contract recently expired, so we're looking to enter into a new contract with them. They provided us options for either a 2-year contract or a 4-year contract. We're recommending to go with a 4-year contract because to be able to hold the prices for 4 years. It's the same pricing for per year for 2 years as it is for 4 years. There's also the replacement of 2 of the flow monitors included in the base contract, and the installation of a rain gauge. And the rain gauge could be helpful in looking at stormwater issues when storms come through town, but also with each one of our I&I reduction contracts where we do flow monitoring, we temporarily install a rain gauge and pay for that. So having one in place permanently will be helpful for the city and reduce a little bit of cost on those flow monitoring contracts we have every year. So staff is recommending the 4-year option, and there also is an option that we're going to incorporate in there that we will to replace possibly a 3rd flow monitor, but that's going to be determined over the next 4 years whether we need to do that or not. So with that, I'd be happy to entertain any questions.
Thank you. Alderman Berry?
Is the 4-year contract, the $129,900, is that a total, or is that yearly, or?
That's a total, and that includes the $8,500 for possibly replacing one of the meters that we may or may not replace. It depends on what we discover over the next 4 years.
Thank you.
For those Triton meters, do we need those every year?
No, they're just like they'll be in place for, I don't remember what their lifespan is, but they've been in place for a while at this point. So the 2 that are scheduled to be replaced are due for replacement, but they stay in place for a number of years. I mean, it could probably, I would guess 15 or 20 years is their lifespan.
Okay. And that cost that they have there, is that installed? Or
Yes.
is that just, okay.
Yep.
Perfect. And then the other question I had was just for replacement parts for like the T&M. Did they give us T&M rates, just so we have kind of a basis?
They did not, but they didn't provide that with the agreement. I can get that from them, but.
Just so we could track for
Yeah.
the next 4 years, so we know. Okay. Seeing no other questions, I will entertain a motion. Alderman Berry?
I'd like to make a motion to recommend the City Council pass a resolution approving an agreement with ADS LLC for sewer flow monitoring services.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Berry, second by Alderman Ashour. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Number 3, consideration of a contract to line a section of water main under Route 59. Back to you, Mr. Kukler.
Thank you. As you may recall, Street Division is planning to replace the existing open ditch that's along the east side of Route 59 north of Batavia Road. It runs along the Burger King property and the Tom's Market property with an enclosed storm sewer system. It'll pick up all the road drainage, tie it into one pipe, and then connect downstream by Country Ridge Drive into the city's storm sewer system there. As we were starting to plan this work and start the process for the work with the property owners on what access we need from their properties, Utility Division pointed out that we do have a water main that crosses under Route 59, roughly between the Burger King property and the Speedway across the street. And this would be a good time to proactively line that before we discover any problems with it. You may recall that a couple of years ago, we hired Furpal Construction to line a water main crossing, a similar one under Route 59 at about Winchester Circle. That one, there was actually a leak on it that we wanted we were reacting to. In this case, this is one in probably a series of crossings over the next few years under Route 59, Route 56, where we're going to try to proactively deal with these and line them before there are problems with them, because trying to work in an emergency and right away, possibly under the pavement, is just really difficult and challenging. So we want to try to avoid that if we can. It would be really expensive too. What we learned in 2021 was that with the quotes that we had obtained at that point, that FERPAL is the only contractor in this area that can really cost effectively do this work. The other contractors that do this work in this area are not competitive with projects that are less than 1,000 feet in length. And this project length is going to be under 150 feet. So last time FERPAL's price was about, I think in total, about $45,000. The next lowest price was $23,000 higher than that, like 50% more than what FERPAL's price was. So at this point, staff is comfortable with the $48,630 proposal that FERPAL submitted. It's consistent with the pricing from 2 years ago. It's not nearly as high as I would have expected, given what I've seen with other contract increases in the last couple of years. So staff's comfortable recommending that City Council waive competitive bidding and award this contract to FERPAL. And with that, I'd be happy to entertain questions.
Any questions? Alderman Krokenberg.
2 questions. So lining the pipe extends the life of the pipe, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm guessing it's a ductile iron pipe that goes under there right now. Over time, those deteriorate and can cause cracking and leaking by lining it with a liner that is basically a plastic material. They run this sock through it. It looks like a sock as it comes out of it. It's really kept really cold. And as they fill that up with water to expand to the pipe, it hardens as it heats up. And so then it's a thicker plastic coating on the inside of the pipe. It's almost a pipe within a pipe.
I know you never can predict how those things go, but what kind of additional life does that give us?
Decades. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I would say at least 50 years. I think the liner by itself, if you could pull it out of the pipe once it's hardened, is a strong pipe by itself.
And then last question, I'm assuming there's no flow issues going from a lined pipe to, the new pipe won't be lined, correct? The new storm, or the new lines that we're gonna put in over by Burger King?
So those are storm sewer lines. We're gonna be putting in a completely different piping
completely
system.
different, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. That's it, thank you.
Alderman Ashour.
Do they TV this after they're done?
Yes, utility division will excavate on both sides of the road, cut the pipe ends off so they're exposed and available for the contractor. They will TV it before the work, and then they will TV it after it's done also.
Thank you.
Yep.
Are we going to be responsible for the plating and the barricades, only because they excluded it?
Yes, so our utility division will excavate it and put all the shoring in necessary for the trench, for the excavations on both sides of the road, as well as the barricades. There shouldn't be any need to get out into the pavement or even the shoulder. This will all be done in the grass area, basically, on both sides of the road.
I was just concerned just about that P1 area, because it's by the speedway right off the sidewalk where that connection was. And I noticed that they just had excluded a lot of that, so I figured that we would probably be the ones picking that up then.
Yes.
Okay, all right, great. Seeing no other comments, I will entertain a motion. Alderman Berry.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend the City Council pass a resolution waiving competitive bidding and approving a contract with FERPAL Construction USA for $48,630 water main pipe lining.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Berry, a second by Alderman Davalos. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item number 4, consideration of a full special census. This is going to be presented by Deputy Community and Economic Development Director Aguilas.
Good evening. How are you? I'm excited to be here tonight. I'm here to present an opportunity to perform a full special census. And most importantly, I'm here to present the opportunity that this brings, which means an additional revenue source to the city. First, I want to start off with providing an outline of tonight's presentation. First, I will provide background information on the 2020 census update. As you may recall, this was completed and certified back on April 1st of 2020 and indicated a population of 13,553, which reflects a modest increase of 413 people since the last census. Now, it's worth to take a pause because that 413 population increase from decennial to decennial census was very low. This modest population increase came to a surprise to city staff. City staff believes the actual population increase was significantly larger because of all the new residential developments that have taken place, occupied and completed since the 2020 census took place. Developments such as the Everton, Lexington Trace, the Westland, and Riverview West are examples of new residential developments that took place that equal more than 1,100 new residents. And that's based just on the units, the unit count. Next, I will move forward to presenting a staff recommendation based on these facts, and then finalize the presentation with the next steps. To expand on the background, the fiscal year 2024 budget included a decision package in the amount of $150,000 to perform a partial special census. Now, this was completed at the time of the budget preparation, which was done by May 1st. The partial special census amount that was entered as a decision package and approved as a budget, fiscal year 2024, was performed based on the information that we received from the U.S. Census Bureau. Their guidelines indicating that this is an estimate to perform a partial special census. Since then, city staff has learned that the city does not qualify for a partial special census. It is not eligible because no single census tract lies completely and solely within the city's boundaries. And we were notified that a full special census with a cost estimate of $427,424 was needed to perform a special census. This means that the city would have to be supportive of a budget amendment of $277,424. Now, this map illustrates an area of unincorporated DuPage County that lies solely within the city's municipal boundary lines. This area of unincorporated DuPage property, shown in red, is what disqualifies the city from performing a partial special census and is therefore required to complete a full special census. Staff believes that a full special census will include a high response rate and would bring additional revenue to the city on an annual basis to offset the cost by the end of 2027. This table shows that a full special census is expected to update to the population to at least 14,539. This is an estimate, a conservative estimate, and we believe that this will bring an additional $244,528 of additional revenue each year should a special census be performed, a full special census. With that, I recommend the City Council direct staff to prepare a budget amendment for $277,424 on top of what has been allocated in the budget in fiscal year 2024. And to consider this at the upcoming July 17 City Council meeting. And to direct staff to respond to the U.S. Census Bureau by the upcoming August 4th, 2023 deadline. And with that, I could answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Alderman Barry?
So you're saying that we would increase the revenue at $244,528 per year
Correct.
for between 2024 to 2030. So
We
for
anticipate
6
this,
years.
we anticipate the special census with the approval from City Council to be performed at the beginning of next year of 2024 and to be completed by the end of next year, 2024. So thereafter, they had to review and certify it, and then we could anticipate seeing the revenue, the additional revenue within a year to 2 years after the completion and certification of the new special census.
So we would only approximately have 3 to 4 years of revenue,
Exactly, yes,
which would be less than $1 million.
correct.
So it would cost us $277,424 to more
In addition, correct.
to gather approximately less than $1 million.
Each year.
No, that's not what you said.
No, I think what the math is, by the time it's paid off, we'll have the 3 years, so we'll get a little under $750,000 of extra revenue by doing this.
Yes,
Before
correct.
the next census.
Correct, correct.
Yep. Well, I'll take your $1 million a year, though. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that I'd take.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm happy to take only $244,000 a year. Thank you.
Alderman Krokenberg.
So with this census, the next census is in 2030.
Correct.
So would they follow the same, would it take the same amount of time to get revenue from the 2030 census and whatever updates we got from them from that point? So actually, we would be getting a couple years more than just the 3?
I anticipate that to be the case. The Census Bureau wasn't committed to a specific time frame of when the 2030 census would be completed and certified, and when the states would adopt that updated count to reflect in a revenue source, but we anticipate that taking place within a year to 2 after the 2030 census is completed.
So we would have, so we would, just similar to what's happening now. I mean, if we didn't do this, we would be going by whatever the number is from the last census, as it is. Yeah, okay.
The 2020, yeah.
I think that answers my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No. Alderman Barry.
So when we asked for this partial, at the time, we didn't know about this unincorporated. It wasn't listed anywhere. Did they just come back with this and just say, oh, by the way, you can't do this?
Yeah, so we submitted an application. We're the first community, one of the first communities, if not the first, to submit for a special census to be completed. At the time, we were going off of the guidelines that the Census Bureau had provided, which we believe we qualified for a partial census. We did correspond with the special census. We corresponded internally, various departments, and we believe we made a strong argument application for a cost estimate to perform a special census, but they did not respond until after the budget was adopted, which was, and it took an effect May 1st. So we went with the best information that we had at the time, believing and making the arguments that for a partial census, and the guidelines have changed since then. The Census Bureau no longer does partial census unless there's one fully tract within the municipal boundary lines. In this case, that pocket of unincorporated disqualified us. And as much as we made the arguments for a partial census, they did not agree, and they directed us that a full census would be required.
Of course. Thank you. So this is going to actually then cost us $427,424.
That's correct. That's the total cost.
Okay, so if we take the 700 plus another to 500, so you're going to get $1.2 million out of this for 5 years by spending 400.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
Yep. Treasurer Goodman, almost called you Alderman Good, sorry.
From an operation point of view, what's the difference between a partial census and a full census?
The full census is based on a census tract. A partial census would mean that the census would be completed on contiguous census blocks. It allowed for, so that could have been the case, right? Or it could have been one complete census tract. The city of Warrenville is comprised of multiple census tracts, not just one. So but the partial would allow us to perform the special census on on a smaller scale, for lack of a better term, right? Versus completing a special census, a full special census would be not only the full tract that primarily encompasses the city of Warrenville, but also the additional contiguous census tracts that abut that main census tract. So the scope is limited when you do a partial special census. And that has been the case historically, and this is the first year that they're very particular in terms of, in order to qualify for the partial census, you have to be completely within one area without any interruptions, for lack of a better term.
So we had identified where some of the increases in population were, and we were only planning to do the census in those areas?
Yes, and actually our applications have been making that argument that we would like to do a partial special census. Thank you.
It's convenient, though, that the people that deny the special census, they offer great service where they can give you a full census. It just costs you $400,000, right?
Yes.
Just to tie it all together.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Mayor Brummel.
This just looks like a pretty darn good investment to me, where we're going to get about a 300% return on our investment. That's pretty hard to beat out there in the market, I would say. So it sure seems like a good thing to do. Even though we're being forced to do more than we really need to do, the return is still significant, and this seems like a great thing. So I appreciate staff bringing it forward.
Alderman Kruckenberg.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend City Council direct staff to prepare a budget amendment to the fiscal year 2024 budget in the amount of $277,424 to be presented for consideration at the July 17th, 2023 City Council meeting, and to direct staff to respond to the U.S. Census Bureau Special Census Management Team by August 4th, 2023.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Kruckenberg and a second by Alderman Ashour. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Nay. Motion passes. Item number 5, it's an informational item. Review and file information report on the OTRS number 2. Do we have any questions on that item? Seeing none. Item number 6, review and file information report on 2021 TIF District School and Library District reimbursement payments. Comments or questions on item 6? Seeing none. Item 7, review and file information report on the Traditional Development Zoning Code. Questions, comments? Number 8, review and file the Community Development Department fiscal year 2024 work program update. Questions, comments? See none. Number 9, review and file the retail space vacancy report. Questions, comments? See none. Number 10, review and file the bi-monthly code enforcement activity summary report. Questions, comments? See none. We have nothing under miscellaneous. We do, however, have a need for a closed session. We have 2 topics on that closed session. Alderman Berry, would you like to make both those motions? Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of 5 ILCS 120/2 (C) 1 the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimonies on a complaint lodged against an employee to determine its validity. And 5 ILCS 120/2 litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Barry, a second by Alderman Kruckenberg. Can I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Augustinovich.
Aye.
Alderman Lockett.
Aye.
Alderman Widener is absent. Alderman Kruckenberg.
Aye.
Alderman Wilkie.
Aye.
Alderman Barry.
Aye.
Alderman Ashour.
Aye.
Alderman Davalos.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We will now be entering into closed session. We will not be conducting any city business after the closed session. So thank you all for coming and have a great night.